Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I've just popped onto the train here at Wynyard. I'm on my way to Circular Quay Station, and I thought I'd kick off with another book summary, kick off the week, kick off Magical Monday with another book summary entitled Better Living Through Criticism by an author named A.O Scott. So I'm just about to get off the train here and continue the book summaries. And as you can see, it's just getting light. I'm just not sure what sort of weather we're going to have today. Looks like it's going to be a cracker of a day actually. The wind is coming in from the west. And another awesome view from this magical platform. Where else in the world can you get off a train and be presented with a masterpiece like this? My beautiful city of Sydney never disappoints. So where do we go with this book summary? So this book summary here, Better Living Through Criticism, is a book about understanding how criticism has shaped society, how criticism has shaped our individual lives, and the importance of embracing criticism and our inner critic. Because when it's all said and done, when you sit back and think about it, where would the world be without critics? I know criticism is a bit of a dirty word for most people, but the reality is that without criticism, without judgment over time, the world may have never progressed.
The next train to arrive
Because critics are the judges and evaluators of our culture. And the critic has a job of examining things within the context of the status quo, of the current status quo, of the time and space in which that criticism is made. So criticism, according to this author, is very, very important, because what it does is it allows ourselves to review ourselves. It provokes thought, and the mere fact that criticism draws strength from the same source as where art draws its initiative and creativity is a fascinating sort of concept. The author goes on to say that we are all moved by unique personal experiences. Each and every one of us have an experience. I'm here today and I'll focus on something and I'll experience it, where somebody else may focus on something else and experience something different. But these unique personal experiences are what we seek out in life, and we seek out people who have a similar personal experience, which makes us have something in common. But one of the big challenges we face as we grow old, as we grow and develop through life, is that life is constantly morphing, constantly changing. The experiences and the settings are different for each and every one of us. So in order to engage, in order to connect with people, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have similar experiences, or be able to identify and express similar experiences in order to feel that connection, I guess is one way of suggesting it. Beauty and aesthetics have a formula and transcend time and space. But we get a lot of change over time, And what we're saying is that
All stations
this
to
common
exit.
element, this thread of aesthetics and beauty, whilst it transcends time, we are constantly on the lookout for it. We're constantly searching for it, and this eternal search for beauty and aesthetics is what enables us to connect and to link and to yearn and to, I guess, look back on previous experiences and want to recreate them in our future. In a way, it's called a cultural reflex, and it binds humans together, is what this author is saying. People who came from the old country, my parents, for example, my grandparents, my family, came from a village, and they came to Australia, and they brought some of that cultural reflex with them, but they also found it in different ways here in this country, where they bound together and engaged with other cultures who had similar sort of backgrounds, albeit a little bit different, but they were able to find a common thread which were able to bind them and to get them to get that feeling back, that nostalgia, that sense of that village feel, that community. But the good thing about critics, the powerful thing about critics, is that they're able to speak their mind, and by speaking their mind, what they're actually doing is they're saying what everybody else, not everybody else, but what most other people are thinking. Now, we've all got different views. We've grown up in different families. We've grown up in different cultures. We've had different experiences. But along the way, what we're trying to identify and trying to
The
find
next train to arrive
is people
on
who have
platform
similar
2
views
goes
to ours.
Macarthur via Airport
But
Station.
the author goes on to
First
say that
stop,
a
St.
critic
James,
has a
then
powerful
Museum,
and important
Central, Green
job
Square,
to do,
Mascot,
because
Domestic
critics
Airport,
uphold the
International
standards
Airport,
of the day.
Walleye Creek, Reefsby,
Just like we have
Nanga,
uncles
East
and
Hills,
aunties,
Holsworthy,
or the firstborn in a
Redfield,
family,
then all stations to
whose job is to
Campbelltown,
try and
then
uphold
Macarthur.
the family history, the family values, the culture, because each person who's born into a family are born in with different values, with different views. And as we say, it's the eldest, or the one who has been exposed to the family and the culture the longest, is the one who's the bellwether, who's the standards holder, and who tries to pass on that culture, those views, to the rest of the people coming and growing into the family. The author also talks about the importance of criticism and how it can have a big impact on people. It can have a big positive impact. It can also have a big negative impact, because we live in a world of cancel culture, and cancel culture isn't all that new. It's been around for a while. I was interested to hear that the author of Moby Dick, Herman Melville, took to heart the harsh reviews of Moby Dick when it was first released, and retreated and never wrote another novel ever again. And his novel and his writings were, I guess, after his death, came to bubble up to the surface and to become I guess, loved more than when he first wrote it. But the important thing for us all to understand, according to this author, is that critics are catalysts to kick off discussions. And critics are sometimes wrong. They're not always right, but as we say, their job is to kick off discussion, to be a catalyst, and to get people thinking, to get people talking, and to get people moving in a particular direction. Let me just hop on this train here. As we go to the airport, let me just have a quick look before I jump on. So the author here is suggesting that critics kick off discussion, but we need to respect the process because we need the free voices in society in order to get us to think more deeply and more broadly about our thoughts. It's only when you grow up that you realise the importance of critiquing and having critics, because sometimes we need an opponent, somebody to compete with us, to get us to bring out the best of our thoughts and the best of our I guess, inner passion is one way of suggesting it. The author then goes on to say that the problem today is that a lot of critics are afraid of being wrong because of cancel culture, because of the internet, social media, and with the social media of today, everyone is a self-appointed critic. But there is a big difference. There is a big difference, the author says here, between an amateur and a professional critiquer. And it's hard. It's hard to be able to discern and to distinguish between somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about and somebody who's an expert. And as a boss of mine once said, when I worked at IBM in the old days, there are featherweight opinions and there are heavyweight opinions. And each and every one of us have a job to identify and to discern and to separate the noise from the quality. These days, however, we've had a massive collapse in our attention spans, and with the internet, we've got people who are influencers who spout their opinion, but we've got to understand that it's hard to be able to identify which of these influencers actually know what they're talking about, which is the pro and which is the third. Because a lot of the material that you see on social media is clickbait, just catchy sound bites that are used to attract people to people's sites. So the bottom line, the message from this author is that we need to be selective with the voices that we listen to and we tap into, and to understand that influencers are not educated critics, and in many ways are the blind leading the blind. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we went through another interesting book entitled Better Living Through Criticism by A.O Scott. And we understand and we appreciate the importance of criticism, but also need to balance criticism in this modern world with social media, and be able to cut through the noise and to identify the voices of reason, as opposed to the cancel culture that go hunting for people just to shut them up and to push certain political agendas. So I look forward to coming to you again from a different place with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can live, learn and pass it on, and we can learn a little bit more and engage a little bit more, and to understand that the world is morphing, is changing. We've got people who are trying to shape us and move us in a particular direction, but to maintain a balanced position and to enjoy the journey without transforming too quickly or too dramatically.